was a weird game because I said on Friday's show, I picked the Ravens to win, but the Steelers to cover. I was half right, of course, but I said what I think is going to happen is it's going to be another classic Ravens-Steelers physical defensive battle that the Ravens come out on top in. Obviously, in this case, Pittsburgh came out on top in, but I also thought, I hope we get blown out. I hope we get humiliated and Matt Canada gets fired. Matt Canada did not get fired despite some really bad coaching missteps, particularly late game, literally giving the Ravens a second chance and a miracle win with an extra 40 seconds on the illegal formation on a freaking kneel down, trying to do their best Miami Hurricanes impression to a certain extent. Rough loss for Miami on Saturday. Point is, I really liked what I saw from Kenny Pickett. And you're looking at Kenny Pickett's stat line like, 18 of 32, 224, QBR at 43, pass rating okay, 88. Like it's not exactly a Mahomes stat line. This is why I said coming in this year, I said I think Kenny Pickett has a breakout season. He obviously has not even come close to that thus far. Most of that being due to offensive play calling. What this kid, it's so, and I talked about this last year even when I was a Steelers fan. Remember when Pittsburgh went on that winning streak and they were winning all those close games? And I said, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. There's something. Kenny Pickett's just one of those guys. There's not a throw that I've seen from Kenny Pickett all season long. Maybe one. I haven't seen 2 throws from Kenny Pickett all season long where I'm like, dang, that was a good throw. Oh, he fit it in that window there. I really haven't seen it. Late game, man. Overcoming the albatross around his and the Steelers' offense's neck that is Matt Canada. The guy puts on a superhero cape. I mean, that last drive. Again, Kenny has struggled most of the afternoon. Some of that is because Baltimore is a really good defense. Some of that is complete incompetence on the part of Steelers' offensive play calling. But Kenny Pickett completes the pass to Allen Robinson on 3rd and 9 with just under 3.5 minutes to go. Great play by him. Then he obviously hit George Pickens on 3rd down and 4, doing his best Trevor Lawrence impression, converting all these 3rd downs for 21 yards. Then a couple plays after the 2-minute warning, of course, hitting George Pickens for what was ended up being the game-winning touchdown from 41 yards out. Again, the Ravens send the blitz. He feels that he backs up off his back foot. Great throw to Pickens, hit him in stride. Pickens scored the touchdown. Again, this is a guy in Pickens who you want to get the ball to as much as possible. He has the potential to be one of the 5 best receivers in the sport. I truly believe that. He's a great route runner. His catch radius might be the best in football, not outside of DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams. He's that great, that talented in that regard. But again, you want to see, I've always said there's a difference to me between a superstar quarterback and a franchise quarterback. I've always said a franchise quarterback, in my definition of it at least, is a guy you can win the Super Bowl with. Now, there's different levels of that. There's the Mahomes level, who he's obviously a franchise quarterback, but he's a superstar, where if you give him just a couple pieces, he can pretty much make everything else work and take you to the promised land. Or then it's the Kirk Cousins route, the Derek Carr route, where everything kind of has to be a little bit perfect, but if it is, they can take you places. Now, I like Carr more than Cousins, but you get the point. Kenny has, I don't know if the Steelers can win a Super Bowl with Kenny, but as I said last week when the Steelers got hammered by Houston, I said, I'll make a fair assessment on the kid when he gets an actual OC, because as we all know, Matt Canada was a bad offensive coordinator in college. The heck makes me think he's going to be good in the NFL. I don't know how Mike Tomlin hasn't come to that conclusion. Even Kenny Pickett, I saw he was interviewed after the game by CBS, and even he looked, after a great win, after a game-winning drive, even he looked a little irritated, like, yeah, we're really not even close to where we want to be. Mike Tomlin kind of alluded to that. Again, the problem is in the building. I don't know why they won't move on, but a great win for the Steelers going to the bye. I did, too, want to touch on Baltimore. By the way, was yesterday not a bad day for Baltimore sports or what? So the Ravens lose a game in which their defense plays outstanding in against the Steelers of all teams. My Steelers, great win, Pittsburgh. Also, and this makes me happy as a Red Sox fan, the Baltimore Orioles, who won 100 games this year, and I'd never quite bought into, down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series to the Texas Rangers, who choked away the AL West at the end of the regular season. Bad day for Baltimore sports. But for the Ravens, Here's how I would assess that game. So a lot of people have been crushing Lamar Jackson today. You guys know, even now as a Steelers fan, that doesn't change the fact that I really like Lamar Jackson, like what he brings to the table, like how he's improved every year. And I certainly, part of the reason I saw the Ravens and still see the Ravens as Super Bowl contenders in the AFC is because the offensive play calling changed with Todd Monken coming in. Two things could be true, as I say often. Lamar Jackson in the last 2 minutes of that game probably could not have been worse. Also, through the first 56 minutes of that game, his receivers could not have played worse. And frankly put, if they catch half of the passes they dropped, Baltimore wins the game. I mean, look at the numbers. I mean, Pro Football Focus just came out with this yesterday. Okay? Or Next Gen Stats, Pro Football Focus, one of the two. Okay? The Ravens had 7 drops yesterday against my Steelers. That's the third most by any team since 2013. So in the last decade, Mark Andrews, one of the most sure-handed tight ends there is. Mark Andrews had three drops. Zay Flowers had a bad day. He had 2 drops, and he had a bomb walk-in touchdown, but he tripped. He tripped. Nelson Aguilar had a drop. Rashad Bateman had a drop. So 7 drops by the Baltimore Ravens, third most since 2013. Not to mention, this doesn't count as a drop, obviously, but Zay Flowers, who, by the way, I loved out of Boston College, Zay Flowers would have had a touchdown if he didn't trip on his way to trying to secure the football. So 2 things can be true. For the first 56 minutes of that football game, the Ravens receivers failed Lamar Jackson. And for the last 4, he failed them. He had a terrible goal line interception. My man Joey Porter Jr., who, by the way, was the highest ranked corner or the highest graded corner. I think it was he got a grade of like 93 by Pro Football Focus yesterday. Hats off to my man. Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's coming. I'm telling you, he's coming for that trophy. But bad goal line interception by Lamar. Then he had the turnover. Then he got stopped, obviously, the last drive of the game. Lamar was awful the last 4 minutes of the game. And the Ravens receivers were awful the first 56. But great win by my Steelers. TJ Watt was, again, a man amongst boys. Alex Highsmith making another big play. Steelers Nation, we got to come up with a nickname for Alex Highsmith. All the big plays he makes. He got the pick 6 against Cleveland in week 2 and making plays on Deshaun Watson that game. This week making plays on Lamar Jackson. Great win for the Steelers, 3-2. And ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have an offensive coordinator, might as well not, the Steelers are first place in the AFC North. Thus far, right now, we have a tiebreak, the tiebreak for now, on the Baltimore Ravens. NFL is a funny business, man, but when you have an elite coach, which Tomlin is, when you have an awesome defense, which the Pittsburgh Steelers does, led by the best defensive player in football, and TJ Watt, and your offense, despite the cluelessness at the OC position, if you got playmakers and you're good situationally, you're good. You're going to make the playoffs. I still maintain Pittsburgh will get there. If we win the division, I'll be overjoyed. Overjoyed. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.